Well, good morning, beautiful people of YouTube world and internet world, I guess. My name's Larry, and this is the channel of the Ramblings of Larry. It is November 5th at 10 a.m. I just went back home to change clothes. I've been out on a couple visits this morning. I actually did get to go to the hospital. The pastors have not been allowed in the hospital because of COVID, but we had a serious case where they were in somebody was in the emergency room, so we went. They allowed me in the door, sneak in the door to pray with the family. So how's everybody doing? Like, back on my story, I just went home, washed up, changed clothes, got to disinfect now, and so here we are, getting ready to go back to work, go back to the church. Oh man, these people got a dent in the front of their vehicle. This is, if you can see straight ahead of me, that is a long pond. I live down here in Lake Park, Georgia. And Lake Park's because of all the lakes. These houses you're seeing over here on the right, let me kind of look that way, except for that one's probably about $500,000, but all these little homes are about $400,000. More than I'm going to pay. I live over there, and we're renting a house, so that's a good deal for us. So I really ain't got a big topic today, but I was watching somebody's YouTube channel. Let me talk about YouTube channels. Boy, there's a lot of us YouTubers out there nowadays. I think, the popularity of this hobby, which is great. The popularity of the hobby has, and the price of cameras has allowed more people to do this. I'm using a Senya Prism tube. I want to get one of the Senya 10C Pro, I think it is. Every time I get a little money saved up, or the Evo, every time I get a little money saved up, a bill comes up, or somebody needs help. But I got the Senya 10C, the tube, as they call it. It was when I bought it, it was $120. I had a discount from my credit card from Amazon, so I think I got it for $60 or something. It is a motovlog camera. It's a round tube, mounts to the side of your helmet. It's on-off. You slide the tube on, you slide the tube off. One speaker and the microphone. So anybody wanting the YouTube, this is the setup. May not be the best video, may not be the best audio, but hey, I've been doing it for 6-8 months now, and y'all ain't kicked me out of YouTube yet. So, with that in mind, here we go. I'm just going to ride for a minute. I think it was Bob Nelson's video, and it might be, I can't think of it, I'm bad about names. Might be the guy in PA rider. What's going on here? Oh, turning. Come on, people. There's work. I'm going to pass work. Wave to work, everybody. Hey, guys. Well, actually, there's one person there. That's work. The church. What that deal is, but one of them was talking about time, and I can't remember the whole thing, but what's time worth? And that's kind of what I want to bring up today, is what is your time worth? As we plan worship, man, get a little foggy in the helmet here. As we plan worship, I am very cognitive, I guess would be the big word to use, of time. I try to keep worship at an hour. And what I always tell the worship team is, when it comes to worship, did the people, and I'm not talking about what they're giving and tithing and all that stuff, we'll get that out of the thing, but did they get something out of their investment of time? I always do minimum wage of $15 an hour. So you got a husband, wife, and a couple of kids. They're giving you $30 to $60 of their time. And the Bible says, and so you think about a family with children getting ready for worship on Sunday morning. Small children, a couple hours to get up. You got to get breakfast. The Sunday school, blah blah blah. All the things go on. They invested about half of their day in coming to church. Was their investment worth it? I mean, was the worship a quality worship? Was there the message quality? And they got something out of it. Bible study the same way. Let's not just waste people's time and show up and just to be there. But the other thing I want to talk about is I'm a great program person. I can run some programs. And sometimes with the church, I get more involved with the programs than I do the people. Because the programs are easy. They don't talk back to you. They're always happy most of the time. Sometimes they're expensive, but whatever. But one thing that we all have, the one thing that each one of us has, rich or poor, doesn't matter how much money you make, we all have the biggest and most valuable asset that each one of us has is time. Many of you know John Maxwell, the motorcycle mechanic, but there's another John Maxwell that teaches leadership courses and motivational speaking. I used to be a John Maxwell teacher, or motivational speaker, teach leadership. I got a minor in leadership. And so I used to teach leadership, go around and do seminars on teaching on leadership. And the biggest asset as leaders that we have, or the biggest, is time. How much time do you invest in somebody else's life? That's a good question there. And one of the things through Air Force and John Maxwell, you should have 3 people, including yourself. There should be minimum of 2 other people in your life, regardless of your age. You should have, the older you get, it's hard. You should always have somebody older than you that's mentoring you, and you should always have somebody younger than you that you're mentoring. And maybe, as you get older, maybe those 2 are the ages, not as far as gap, but are you investing yourself in somebody else's life? And is somebody investing their life into you? Because you need to be poured into so you can pour out of. That's our biggest asset is time. Our biggest, gosh, I can't remember the right word I'm looking for. But the biggest thing we have, the best gift that we can give anybody is our time. Those of you, like myself, that have lost their parents, how much would you give to spend another day with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa? I should have turned down that road. How much would you give? And so that's what I'm always looking at there, is invested in people, not programs, and time. And I kind of bring this up because we did a thing this Tuesday, a nonpartisan. We took the church van and we went to the nursing homes and people that wanted to vote. A lot of your older people don't like either mail-in or absentee. They want to go there. And then, of course, I went to the VA. There's a apartment complex in town that has that's a bumpy road, that has a lot of underpaid people, I would say. It's a cost-limited apartment complex. There's a lot of disabled veterans in there, which is sad, but it is. So I spent Tuesday, me and a couple other people had vans or big trucks, so I drove the church van around, picking people up, taking them to the voting place, and we would take them to breakfast for lunch too. We picked about 45, 50 people up, and we drive them there, and they could go vote, and then take them to lunch, and go back. The only rule we had, no talking politics, no talking candidates, so we talk about whatever. But this older gentleman, a Vietnam veteran, a pilot that was wounded, I picked him up first thing in the morning, and nobody was riding in the shotgun with me. And so he hops in the van, rides shotgun, And he went and voted. We went to breakfast. We got breakfast. He wanted to know if he could just ride around with me. He was so lonely. I mean, he has another nursing home people, but just to talk to somebody different, just somebody else. And so I've got tomorrow I'm going to pick him up for lunch again. Time. We all have it, 24/7. I don't know how many minutes are in a day and all this other stuff. And so my question is to you, how are you spending your time? It's one of the most valuable things, assets that you have. Your children, those of us that had children. Now, one of the things I did well, I didn't have children until I was older. I was 37 when I got married, and I married a woman with 2 children. There's a good funny story about motorcycles and that in there. And I was at the top of at the end of my time in the Air Force. I went straight from the Air Force straight into the ministry and going to seminary. And I have always, until now, Methodists move us from church to church. We don't get to ask to move. We don't get to tell. They just move you. It's kind of like a military thing. How at least the Methodists here work is you're appointed year to year, and then you move. Well, so I'm in the ministry. My kids were grade school and middle school. What I realized with a smaller country church, they gave me more time to be with the family. I could still meet all the people during the day while they were at school, but I could be involved in school. The flex time was really good. And so I have spent a lot of time, great time too. Instead of making money, I had a job offer as soon as I retired, 2 of them actually, or 3. One was Lockheed Martin up in Atlanta, working the F-35. Then 2 of them were depot jobs in Warner Robins, working being the depot leader, starting off at $80,000 a year. I chose $30,000 a year so I could spend time with my family, because my family was more important than making money. Some days I debate on that now, but as we're older, and we don't have a whole lot of money. But I always make time for my children and the wife. That's what, all this other stuff's going to come and go, but they will always be there. And 2, the kids may have to pick my nursing home. That's my whole question. I don't really have a whole lot of things. You got 24/7. Are you just investing in yourself, or are you pouring out into somebody else's life? And I'll bring up, and I'm just rambling along here, I don't have a script or anything, motovlogging. Man, I tried to get in motovlog. I've got 3 or 4 different cameras. I could never get them to work. I couldn't get the mics to work. I was asking a lot of questions. I asked Mike 87. Those are the first people I started watching. Mike 87, Moose, Bodine, Harley Day Rider. Okay, we're going to go this way. We'll watch Harley Day Rider, Harley Track. Those are kind of the first ones that might obviously have expanded, because a lot of you other people are now there. And I'd be asking a lot of questions. We're going to go make a left. I'd be asking a lot of questions on this. Cross traffic does not stop. So you better, or you're going to get your ass ran over. Man, I mean, I've talked to my people on the phone, the email, and a couple of you people out there, really, I was ready to give up a couple times. It was just too frustrating for what it was worth. For the amount of, you're not getting nothing back out of it. And they kept encouraging me, and they threw asking questions, and I don't remember the guy's name now. Hopped on one of the people on the channel and says, hey, go to my channel, this is what I'm using. That was Prism 2. Talk to him, man, been the best thing for right now, what I can afford. So that those people invested time, and you're hearing about time because of me talking about it coming down the road. Okay, let's turn on cruise control. Let's engage. I'll probably never own another motorcycle without cruise control. This has been the best thing ever. Let's go back to the subject here. Focus, Larry, focus. The whole thing is to look at your time. You got 24/7. How are you invested in people? How are you invested in people? Back to another good story. Since we're going to be on the road for a few minutes, I'll do another good story for you. Then I'll shut up after this. I'm in the Air Force. I got promoted real young. I was a 20-year-old E5 in charge of the ship. In the States, I couldn't even drink yet. And here I was in charge of 15, 20 people and 25 airplanes. For one ship, not the whole time, everything. But so, I remember a commander called me into office, called several of us mid-level supervisors in the office. He said, "What's your 5-year vision for the units?" And I'm like, 5-year vision? I'm worried about, I was a swing shift guy. I'm worried about the flying schedule for tomorrow. That's it. I mean, I'm worried that we're making the sorties for the month. I mean, what do you mean 5 years? I don't know what the Air Force is going to have us do. And he brought this point up to me, a valuable lesson that I have taken with me everywhere. He says, your job is to replace yourself in this unit. How are you training these people so in 5 years, the young airmen coming in can have your job? Don't worry about the airplanes. Yeah, that's going to go, but your most valuable asset is these people. Train them well and pour out into their lives. Make sure they're getting the training, the aircraft training, the professional military training. Make sure that they are getting trained so when it's your turn to leave, there's a seamless flow. They just take over. The best thing a supervisor, the best compliment a supervisor can have is when they leave, whether they're on vacation or they leave that unit or that workplace, is that somebody else is able to step in and there's nobody else, the lower people don't even realize the boss is gone. If you can do that, if you can have somebody trained so you can be gone, you've done your job correctly. And I know some of the work loads and the way people are hired now, bare minimum people, it might be harder to do. So that's my topic for today. I don't know how long I've been rambling here. I didn't start the clock. The time. How are you spending your time? Who are you pouring yourself out into? And then the other question is, if you pour yourself out into everybody else, you will soon be burned out, dried up, and not worth a hoot. Who do you have that's pouring their life into you? You need to have a mentor that you can go to and talk to that's helping you, and you need to have somebody you're mentoring. And like me, I have several mentors. I call them dad figures. And I can go to them with different topics or different things. I got people pouring into me. I got 4 or 5 other men that I can go talk to that are pouring their life into me, but I got about 10 or 15 people that are close friends, I guess you would say, that I'm pouring into them. I'm pouring back into them. And hopefully, at the end of the day, we all are better because of it. So, use your time and use it wisely. Talk to you all later. God bless. Bye.